What's up, guys? This is Kephas. The situation at Blizzard, it's complicated in that when you criticize things, you wanna make sure that the right people are being criticized. It's hard to say what's going on behind the scenes, other than what I've heard from other people, from what I've heard from news, and just what's reported on and what's believable. Obviously I've spoken to people that work there. I know that a lot of the people that are hands-on with the products and are trying their best to make good products. That is a fact. There are people that are trying their best. The problem isn't the developers always. I do think that there are some instances where, the developers aren't doing their best. At the same time, I think that a lot of that has to do with a low morale, and a lot more of it has to do with they're trying to make good products, but, the higher-ups and the people that look at cost and all this crap and all the brass, whatever you want to say, the brass above and blah and all that crap, they are setting deadlines and rushing the people trying to make the games, make them the best they can, because when it comes to the higher ups, they don't care about you. They don't care about how good the games are. They care about how much money the games make. That's all they care about. And they don't care about getting awards and going down in history as making some of the best games. They care about making their company profitable. And unfortunately, that oftentimes leads them to make decisions that aren't good for their consumers, aren't good for their reputation, aren't good for their products in any way. And that's why we are often in the situation that we're in. It's not the people making the games necessarily. It's the people who are behind the people making the games. It's those people's bosses. And that's what sucks about it. Ooh, I got a quest. So what do you do with that? I mean, how do you fix that? It's kind of like this might be a hot take that I'm not really intending to be a hot take, but it's my opinion. I was talking to my wife one day. I was like, I know it's like, I'm trying not to be that old man who doesn't like anything new, but I was like, I genuinely feel like modern music sucks. Like, I really do. I don't think modern music has been good since, like, the late 2000s, maybe even before that. Like, there aren't nearly as many bands anymore, at least none that are as prominent like there used. I mean, there used to be so many bands. There used to be a lot of, musical talent, like songs with a lot of music, a lot of vocals that weren't altered, computerized, not that everything sucks now, but generally speaking, I feel like modern music sucks. There isn't a lot of performance. There aren't a lot of bands. It just doesn't feel as good as old stuff does. And in fact, statistically speaking, people who are younger agree with that statement. Especially like once they've been exposed to older stuff, a lot of people agree with that. And looking into it, it's because of the same, it's the same thing. It's investors and it's money, and it's not so much that the industry and the interest and people are into different things. It's because you're given this stuff because this is more cost effective. It's not cost effective to have bands. It's not cost effective to do things like that anymore. So this is what you get now because this is what the companies are, pushing, and that's why music sucks nowadays, because you are literally getting cheaper stuff. I mean, that's kind of a rudimentary explanation. That's one that I've when I look into it, that's what I've been told by people who are in the music industry. That's often what's said, and it's like, yeah, I believe it, because you see the same thing happening in other entertainment industries. And video games, I hope they don't go the way of the music industry, and just everything sucks because no one wants to spend the time and the money to make good products anymore. I think that's why a lot of gamers get frustrated, because they want to continue to play good games. They want to continue to get their money's worth, especially with a game like WoW. People don't want to stop playing WoW. That's what other people need to understand. It's not that WoW has improved and people are like not liking the changes. It's not that at all. It's that people, it hasn't improved. It's maybe some things have, but like just generally speaking, it's, you know, it's I mean, especially like when you look at what Blizzard's doing now with other games, and it's like, give me a break. People, like, we all know why they're doing this, why the game is going the way it's going. It's not because of the consumers. It's because of the way the company is going. And that's going to be true of every IP that they have. That's what's frustrating about it. It's like, oh my god, like, you know, I don't know, man. Like, I talk about this all the time. I talk about how frustrated they are, for how frustrated I get with them, and just how frustrating it is to deal with them now. And I am more and more emphatic about the fact that I am not a fan of Blizzard. I'm a fan of their games. I'm not a fan of them. And whether or not I will continue to be a fan of their games is entirely up to them. And that's the question that, you know, we'll see where it goes. You know, will I continue to be a fan of their games? Depends. It depends on them. Depends on their decisions, you know. Mainly, I mean, my main concerns, might be selfish, is how much I enjoy their games. I really don't care about a lot of the other stuff surrounding that, unless it's like something really bad, like the geopolitical whatevers, you know, like I'm not really into that kind of stuff. I care about how good the game is. That's all I care about. If all they care about is how much money they make, all I care about is how much fun I have with their games and whether or not their games are worth my money. Everything else is between them and whoever they are dealing with. I'm not going to bear a torch for their workers. I don't like it, but that's for their workers to deal with and fight and you know, all that kind of stuff. I can speak out about it, but I don't think I'll stop playing for something like that. I think that might make some people mad too, but you know, I just feel like that's something that, like, I don't know. If you get kind of tricked into working for them, like they lead you to think one thing, you start working for them thinking one thing, and then they just deceive you, that's one thing, and then you're kind of stuck. That I sympathize for. But if you go into working for Blizzard knowing full well what you're going to make, knowing full well that they are underpaying you and that you're not going to be making a lot of money, but you just want to work for them, and then you do it, and then you complain that you're not getting your wages, well, you're the one that made the deal in the first place. Like, it's not right that they do it, but you're the one that got yourself in that situation. My advice is get out of that situation, because there isn't, like, I don't care who you're working for. I don't care who, there's no one that I would work for if I wasn't getting paid properly. No one. There isn't a single thing in this world that I would do for a living if I wasn't making a decent living doing it. Doesn't matter how much I love it. I certainly wouldn't work in the gaming industry. I wouldn't work for anybody if they weren't paying me well enough. And so when people do that, I kind of look at you like, I kind of, you know, like, why would you do that then? Why did you agree to do that if you didn't feel like you were getting paid properly? Like, you know, be smarter about that kind of stuff. But I don't know, maybe people get out of school or whatever, and they're just excited, and they're not, you know, they're not informed enough. I don't know. That seems kind of condescending, and maybe it's a little bit more complicated than that. But if that is what it is, like, then don't do it. Like, get out immediately and go work for something that appreciates you more. I know of people that work for them and quit because, you know, they're like, it sucks there. They don't pay you well. You know, and there's not a lot there, and it's known now there's not a lot of job security there either. They will kick you to the Blizzard will kick an employee to the curb. This is a fact. They will kick an employee to the curb. A good employee, like, what was his name? Was it Yithins? You know, I never really experienced. I just, from what I heard, they'll fire someone like that, and then a little bit later, they will reopen that position and then hire someone new for less. They'll give them more to do, like the job will have more to do, and they'll pay them less. That's what they do. That's shady stuff, man. So, you know, be careful if you're working somewhere like that and you start making enough money, they might just let you go. that's no way to live, man. That's no way to live, I don't think. And I think that, but, again, that I guess in the end that does affect me, because if they don't treat their employees properly, then it's going to affect their employees' work and how well they make the game. So I guess, in a way, I should care. I do care more about that, because, treat your employees right, because I want your employees to make me good games so that I can then pay you. That's actually something that I learned in business school, that in a lot of ways, business is, if you're a business owner, if you're running a business, it's a cycle. You treat your employees correctly, your employees treat your customers correctly, and then your customers treat you correctly. It's a cycle. And I honest to God, everything that I learned in business, especially when it comes to ethics, and honestly, the belief that, in the long run, ethics are way, like, following proper procedures, following a certain code of ethics is more profitable in the long run, because you're going to keep people around longer, you're going to get more money out of them. But the problem is that the people that work there seem to think that we need to get all of the money now instead of a lot of money over the course of time, and sustain our company. Because, you could make a lot more money. It's like burning a candle and putting gasoline on it, thinking, oh, the fire is going to get huge. It's like, yeah, the fire is going to get huge for a brief time, but then the candle's going to burn out, and then you're going to have no wax left, and then you're not going to have a candle anymore. And that's exactly how these companies run. But why should they care? Because they'll move on to the next company, and the investors will move on to the next company. The higher ups, will just get sniped by, or move on to another company. They don't care. They don't care how they run the company. They don't care if they run the company into the ground. They don't care at all. Because they'll just move on to the next place. They'll have a ton of money. They'll move on to the next place. They'll suck the next company dry for all it's worth. And that's what happens. So, it's very, bleh, talking about it, I know. But the only reason why I even bring it up is because you're seeing that happen. You're seeing the effects of that happening with Blizzard. And the way they handle themselves, the PR speak, the lack of quality for their products, the lack of concern for their consumers, the lack of ethical treatment for their employees. There's a lot of that going around, and it's very, very frustrating, because someone like me, who can't do anything about it other than talk about it, loves the games and does not want to stop playing these games, and wants to see them continue to grow and become amazing and blow my mind. And I have to wonder if that's going to happen. That's what's frustrating about it. And that's why people are talking about it. And that's why it's, I don't know. I don't know what to do other than just keep talking about it. Keep vocalizing how I feel and encouraging other people to do the same thing. And hopefully, maybe they'll start listening. And also just, when it comes to new products that come out, if they're really bad, like Warcraft 3, then don't buy it, which I didn't. And also just seeing the reviews for it, the fact that Warcraft 3 is, at least at the time of recording this video, the lowest rated game on Metacritic is, I think that might get a message across, maybe, because one thing, aside from how much money a product makes, if there's one thing that companies like this don't like, it's bad PR and it's bad ratings. It's just like TV shows. They don't want bad ratings. They want that stuff to look good, because, who wants to invest in a company when their latest game is the lowest rated score on Metacritic, and then people are wanting refunds? That's not a good look at all. But that's what happens when you do what you do. If you would just, how hard could it, and that's the thing, is we're not talking about a brand new game. We're not talking about a new AAA game. We are talking about a high profile but remake. Not even a remake, a remaster. That's not even the same as, a remake is, again, a remake would be from the ground up. We are talking about a remastered game, and they couldn't do it. They could not even make they couldn't even properly create a remaster. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how. You know, a company like Blizzard making a remaster should be the easiest thing in the world for them. Old Blizzard would have nailed that. Because, like WoW Classic isn't even a remaster. WoW Classic is literally just a recreation of exactly what was there years ago. So sure, they did that. But Warcraft 3 Reforged was literally just taking the game and putting a new coat of paint on it. Maybe adding a couple of modernized features if you want to make it more modern and up to date. That's it. They couldn't. They actively made a game that's worse than the original, and I don't know how you do that, other than not caring, not paying attention, or rushing it. And I'm sure that all three of those things are what contributed to the game not being any good. And that's, you know, that makes me worry about about Diablo 4. You know, it really does. The thing, oh god, the thing that's really frustrating about this, like, every time, every step, people have been frustrated with them, calling them out on this stuff, and you've got people, oh, it's not a big deal. It's not a big... So what? They want to make Diablo 3 or Diablo game on the phone. What's it to you? You don't have to buy it. It's like, it's not... It's about what that represents to people. It's about how that comes across. It's about what that means and how in the long run that's going to affect and how that identifies the company is changing. The fact that they would not only make that game, which is whatever, you know, it might even be forgivable if they made it, but the fact that they also, just the way they handled it, you know, that's the thing that people are frustrated by. And then those people that are always like defending Blizzard, try to act like Blizzard's still the same company that they were 15, 20 years ago. And if you think that, you're in denial. You're deceiving yourself. They're not the same. They're not the same at all. The polish, I remember people always praised them for how, oh, the Blizzard polish is just, no one polishes games like Blizzard does. No one makes games as good as Blizzard does. They're the best. You know, it's like, yeah, not anymore. That's not true. That's long since gone now. They don't have that rep anymore. And that's what's scary. I mean, I genuinely, like, the only reason why Overwatch does fairly well, aside from the league, which is just a joke. That's something else too, man. Look into the Overwatch League, their attitude towards Twitch and like moving to YouTube. My God, like just the denial of these people. It's crazy. But the only reason why Overwatch itself is improving and has a strong player base is because look who's making it. You've got a dev that actually gives a crap. Jeff is probably the best thing that Blizzard has going for them. But all of the other quote-unquote rock stars aren't there anymore. And, you know, I think that's another problem, too, is that I've said that before. I know I've said that before. It's time to stop treating Blizzard like a bunch of rock stars because it's gotten to their heads and they think that they can do no wrong and they think that everything they're going to make is a hit and they don't have to try and they don't have to compete and they don't have to work hard and they can just make trash and people are going to like it no matter what. And it's true of some people, but that number is dropping by the day. And I'm ranting. I'm sorry. But, man, I get frustrated. There goes the tornado siren. If you don't live in the tornado area, every Monday they test the sirens. I don't even know if you can hear it or not, but the siren's going off. Warning, warning. The Blizzard is not the same company that they used to be. No, I'm not trying to pee in anybody's Cheerios, so to speak. You know, I still love WoW, and I want Blizzard to do well. I want them to succeed. I get no joy from them, you know, progressively getting worse and worse. I get no satisfaction out of that at all. I genuinely do want them to do better. Because if they're doing well, that means they're making games that I want to play, and that means that people want to buy their games, which means that their games are good, and that's a win for me. That's the world I want to live in. It's not hard to understand how simple that is to, how simple that is to understand. unfortunately, it doesn't seem like that's the way things are going, and I don't know what to do about that. I mean, there's nothing I can do about that. It's just, except make a video playing their game and ranting about them. And I think that's the most frustrating thing about it all, is like, you know, people love their games. They love playing their games, and there's nothing that they can do. It's frustrating. You know, you feel kind of powerless. You just have to watch them destroy themselves. And that's exactly what they're doing. They're destroying themselves. It's amazing that right before Warcraft 3 came out, I kind of said that I feel like Blizzard's on borrowed time. You know, and then bam, look at Warcraft 3. Now look, they have now taken the spot. Blizzard has now taken the spot for having the worst rated game on Metacritic. I know it's Metacritic and it doesn't, like, you know, take Metacritic reviews with a grain of salt, sure, but man, did you ever think Blizzard would be the ones to make a game that would be the worst rated game on Metacritic? That is just, no, that is dark timeline stuff, man. We are in the dark timeline if Blizzard's got the lowest rated game on Metacritic. And yeah, that's where we are. It sucks. I keep thinking these guys are ore. That's how blind I am. There's the ore. Those blue guys, I thought they were like adamantite or something. My honestly, you know, my hope right now, I think the best thing that I could see from Blizzard is that they continue to remake older versions of WoW, re-release BC. That would be awesome to play through that for a while. Re-release Wrath. Playing through that as the game was then would be amazing. I would love to go through that again. And then maybe consider bringing the game to consoles, which make a lot of people mad, but, you know, they'll get over it. They need to. I don't want that. I don't want that ghost mushroom. Whatever. You know, that's the best I could see right now. That's the best I could hope for. And hope maybe somehow that Diablo 2 will be good, but I don't know. Or not Diablo 2, Diablo 4. I have very little hope in that. I really do. I have very little hope that Diablo 4 will be anything to write home about. I just don't. I don't think it will. I think it's gonna have a lot of crap in it. I think it's gonna be broken on release. I think it's gonna have a lot of microtransactions. I think they're gonna try their best to find ways to nickel and dime it. And you know, that's what's gonna happen, and it's gonna be frustrating. For people that actually were hoping that they were going to make a good game. And once again, you're going to have people, they're going to be like, well, how could they do this? And you're going to be standing there, people like me are going to be like, how did you not see this coming? You know, sad to say, but it's the truth. So yeah, I don't know, man. I really don't know. But I do know that it's time to move on from Zangarmarsh. I'm not going to do this whole zone. We've gotten a lot out of it. By the time we turn in these quests, we will be level 70. And then it will be time to either move on to Wrath content or maybe go to Nagrand for a little bit, because I feel like going to Nagrand for just a little bit might be a little bit fun. So we might go to Nagrand for a couple levels, and then we'll head on out to Howling Fjord or Borean Tundra. I haven't decided yet, but we will decide that next time. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, let me know by clicking that like button. And feel free to share it with your friends so they can enjoy it as well. Don't forget, you can subscribe to the channel and click on the bell icon to be notified as soon as new videos are posted. You can also follow me on Facebook and Twitter, and if you'd like, you can support this channel on Patreon. Links to all of this can be found in the description below. This is Kephas. Until next time.